creating the community and the women around me that support me, that like inspire me. We talked about this with the friends thing, but like who support you and inspire you, who challenge you in a positive way, not challenge you to tear you down, but challenge you to open your perspective and give you new options and ideas. And so for me, I feel like that's what I'm taking away is community, friendship.
I'm Rachel, and you're listening to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. All right. We are here at the Her Retreat. If you've been following me on social media, you've seen me talking about this for literally months at this point. And I'm here with all of the ladies that decided to say yes to this experience and yes to themselves. And I had a bright idea like 2 months ago. I'm like, you know what? We're going to do a live podcast recording while we're there. Instead of doing individual testimonies and videoing everybody and be like, how was your experience? Like, we're going to do it in a group. And we've had the things that I had planned for this retreat. It's like you can only plan so much, and then it's when you get the women there and you get the energy going, that's where the magic happens. So it's these out of box conversations and like the late nights and the giggles and the random trips to strip clubs. Like that's what that's what you get when you get an awesome group. So we're here for this episode today to share all those things, the raw, the real, the magic that's happened so far. And we still have a delicious steak dinner coming up tonight that we'll enjoy together, and one more little surprise for everyone. So you're getting the testimonials and the experience before the grand finale. So just to point that out. So, all right, I want to start with you guys. I want to start with the fears. What were some of the fears that you had coming into this retreat? And yeah, like where was the worry? Where was the anxiety? Because I think with many women didn't say yes to this retreat, right? And there's like something stood in the way of them. And for you all, you overcame that. So who has something?
I do. So I think part of it for me, and we talked a little bit about this a few days ago, was wondering whether or not we would like each other, because I mean, some people have some familiarity, but I didn't know anybody really. So that was something I thought about beforehand. Like, are we all going to mesh? And what's that going to be like? Especially when you're dealing with something so intimate as topics of sexual nature. Yeah, so that was something I had to think about.
Will you speak to the age differences that we have among us?
Oh yeah, I'm the house mom. So yeah, that was another thing too. I thought about, I was like, I'm the oldest person here. But one of the things I think that I found relatable was that we talked about, we're all pretty similar in the experiences anyway of the topic anyway. So the age wasn't necessarily a factor in that.
And then I think of, my sister is here like at 22 and thinking back, like, and to be in her shoes and going through this experience at the age of 22, which I'll have you speak to it, Morgan, like how incredible. And for all of us, right, to think back had we had this information and this level of personal growth, personal development, to see sisterhood in this way, and like to see connection between women in this way, because we're so much raised in like toxic, like bashing other women, or, we went over like that female friendship workshop today. So I just think like, God, I wish I would have had this in my early 20s. That could have saved me a lot of like crying and a lot of hurt. So yeah. Tell us, youngin.
I'm really grateful for this experience, like being my age and being a part of this. I was really nervous coming into it, again, like not knowing everybody entirely and not knowing what I was expecting really. Like I had no expectations, honestly, other than I just wanted to like support you and like absorb. But I feel like I got a lot more out of this than I was even expecting. Like things I didn't even know I needed to know, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think being my age, like going forward with this experience is going to be really interesting. Like what kind of impact it'll have like on the future, like my future relationships and things like that.
And do you want to share what your fears were coming into it?
I think I was nervous being the youngest one. not knowing everybody, again, talking about sexuality in front of everybody, and I had no idea what to expect. So I guess my fear was the unknown.
I was just going to add to that for me, coming here, I was also just like Morgan, like, I'm here to support. Like, that is what I want to do. I love my Rachel Maine, and being able to be in your energy and presence is important to me. And so when I found out about the retreat, that was what I wanted to do. And I can feel your energy right now. Yes. So yeah, I'm just wanted to really spend more time with you and learn from you. You know, we have been on this journey very parallel. You know, you've showed me the ropes in the world of like what we do. You introduced me to all of the things that got me started. So, yeah, I just wanted to be here.
Yeah. And did you have any fears, or were you just fearless coming into this?
I think so. We learned this week that I don't have a lot of fears other than things internally, but external things don't really fear me. But I would say my biggest fear was getting along with other people, because my personality is very friendly, but also like very rough around the edges and very dominant, right? We know I like to be a little bit of a dom, we learned. So that for me, I think is always challenging, because I can easily butt heads with people because I am very strong. Yeah, personality.
Yeah. All that. And yeah, if I'm curious what were some of the reasons that some of you said yes to coming to this? If you want to share in terms of, expectations, things that you were hoping to get out of it, but really like what was the deep rooted yes for each of you?
I mean, for me, it was, I think, again, we talked about this, it's just, I have a greater propensity of just saying yes to anything I haven't done, which doesn't mean that I wasn't like nervous or worried or scared or fearful or anxious about any of the things, but just wanting to grow and to expand and to push myself. And it definitely did that in a good, safe, comfortable way. But yeah, I was, I just figured I'd want to learn more about myself. And I think also kind of like the female, like that probably was a challenge for me as well. Same, I think, as you mentioned, having more of a dominant personality, whether or not that meshes with other people or not. And again, it's a vulnerable setting, so that can be tricky.
I was going to say, for me, new experiences. That's why I said yes, like try new things, meet new people. You said something just a second ago about like making friends with women, especially. And I think that our exercise today was really helpful in really looking at our female friendships and like, what do we want from the relationships that we have around us, and cultivating that. And things like this are a really great way to meet other women who are on similar journeys, who maybe have similar backgrounds or are on the same trajectory, that share similar characteristics. And that's what probably drew a lot of us here today as well. So I think that was really is just like meeting new people and having new experiences.
Yeah, and we all had coming into this, like one of the activities that we had, in which, to just for listeners to know, like we didn't just arrive here in Tampa not knowing each other. Like we really set this up. We went through weekly archetype calls with each other. So we had 5 or 6 weeks together leading into this in-person experience, and every week teaching a different embodiment. So we went through the maiden. What do we do? Maiden, huntress, queen, sorceress, and lover / sacred slut. And doing embodiment and trying on these different personas of each other and like learning how to step into them. And then coming here in person is like we already kind of knew each other, and so we already kind of knew the vibe of one another. And I thought that was really cool. And so then, and that weekend leading up to it, coming in with that word. So we had words like let go and clarity and reset and rejuvenation. Growth was a big one. And so I'd love for anybody to speak to their words that feel like that, like why was it that word? And on the other side of that, do you feel like you accomplished it? Like if your word was growth, do you feel like you're coming out on the other end with that, or did you come through this experience rested and rejuvenated?
Since mine is growth. Yes. So I feel, and I'm glad that you brought up the, what was it, 6 weeks beforehand?
I think it was, 5 or 6.
So, if I were listening or watching this, and what I would want to know, again, I feel like we've got like a good vibe going, and I would be like, oh, well, how did they get that? Or, I don't know. I guess that would be something that I would think about and wonder, will I have that connection with the people? Because I would have to say it wasn't quite as, I didn't feel like I knew well, you weren't on the calls initially, so you were brand new, but I like looking back at it now that you said that, the growth is pretty significant. But getting here, I still felt I had kind of an idea of what people's personalities were like, but not until you really get here do you really dive into it and get to know people for real. But now I forgot your original question.
Do you feel, with your word being growth, do you feel, do you feel like that box was checked? Do you feel like you accomplished that?
And I feel like if you tried even like at 10%, you would have to grow based on the things that you do. So it's about just letting things happen, naturally. And you have to come out of this with, some sort of growth. Yeah.
When we were picking our words, I was gonna say growth, but you said it before me, so I chose reset, and I feel like that resonates for me even more, like more so today. I don't think I was quite feeling the word reset yesterday, maybe, or like had the intention of feeling that way. But like today, I feel like I definitely fulfilled that word. Like just I'm going to circle it into also the question you asked, like, why'd you say yes? Like, I said yes to you because you're my sister and I love you. But I really liked seeing you, like, leading, and, like, I don't see you on that level on a daily basis, what you do. And, like, I just feel different. I don't really know how I can explain it more than, like, I'm excited to take everything, like, back with me, like into the future or stuff like that. Like I feel like it was a reset. I hadn't thought about all these things before, everything that we've been over, and I don't know.
Do you feel confident? Like, do you feel like this is ultimately was a confidence booster?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Like how nervous I was and like a little shy and stuff, I don't feel that way at all anymore.
Yeah, and I think like for you, reset too, like getting more clarity in this morning, being able to do the boudoir shoot for everybody. And I know that's a piece, like that's something that you love to do. And so witnessing that love again, but then to be on the other side of it and to be like having us photograph you, I thought that was a really cool experience. And for you now to be able to look back at those pictures as well, as you said, like there was a different energy for you. And so I think with reset, like I think your original word was growth, so like bringing growth and reset together and meshing those two, it's like you're resetting and you're having growth on the other side, because I would say you're coming out of this experience like a different person with a different mindset.
Yeah, I think it was really unique for me to be able to do that, like because I'm so used to doing shoots of other people, like to have it of myself, it was like super empowering. Like I feel like it reset my confidence, I guess I would say. And another cool thing about the growth, and along with the photo shoots, like people being so nervous going into it, like needing a little champagne before, like nervous about where we're going to go, what poses we're going to do. And when you're in it, it's like 5 minutes in and you guys are fine. Like it was so beautiful to witness. Like I feel like I'm going to cry.
I cried.
Like,
cried with almost everybody.
I know.
like I'm so proud of everyone. And I said, like, when people go into the photo shoots, they're super nervous and, well, like, what do I do with my hands and how should I have my face? And like, it just, it's so natural. Like I see that light switch in everybody, and it's like, oh, you know what? I want to try this now, or this would feel comfortable to me. Or I'm like, when do you feel like hot? Like what positions do you feel sexy in? And it's just like really empowering to see that in other people, and then to experience that with myself. It was really cool.
I was definitely a person who at the beginning I was like, I'm not gonna do this in front of all these people. Because it's really vulnerable and it's scary. And I had set that myself though, right? But anyways, yeah, I didn't want to do it. I thought I would do that by myself in a bedroom with just you, and that was bad enough as it was, right? But I did it. No, I was like, oh, there's another human who's going to see me. So that in itself was pretty cool, though. Like we were all just excited for everybody's shot and woohooing, and it was very exciting. And I'm not an emotional person. I kept crying. I cried for hers. I cried for yours. It was really sweet.
It's so funny that you say that, because I didn't go outside because everybody wanted their own space. They didn't want to be observed. So like I didn't go watch because everybody wanted to have their privacy. So it's funny that you reflect that, like the sisterhood with that experience.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, it's like we were all each other's hype girls. And Morgan is like the best hype girl, like for photographing for sure. I always say that about her. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, thinking about the different activities and the things that we've gone through so far, what was everybody's favorite part of the retreat thus far?
The unexpected, how we went to our pole dancing class and then went to ended up at the strip club.
Which, by the way, you were like fist bumping, cheering me on, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I was like, I felt so peer pressure. I was like, I cannot say no right now. Like, we're going to a fucking strip club. That's what that felt like. Yeah. What else? And okay, so for you, Rachel, like doing the pole dancing, I think that was all, except for Jordan, like that was all very much out of our comfort zones. Like that was all of our first time ever doing that. So what would you say you learned like coming out of that?
By that point, we were pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
So whatever was coming next was like, okay.
Yeah. And we learned, as Jordan said, we learned to squash bugs.
Cigarette butts and squashing bugs.
I think.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, there's been some growth.
Show us.
Let's see how we can do this. We'll squash the bugs.
Oh my God.
Cigarette butts.
Yes. Oh, if you're not watching this episode and you're only listening, I highly recommend going over to YouTube if you want to see some ass jiggling. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. What did she say yesterday? Was like the jiggle is healthy.
Jiggle is healthy.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. And so from then on, I was like, oh,
It's fucking hot.
It
It's
is
so hot. And it's so natural and it's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, society has a lot of times told us that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of times we have to rewrite that narrative. And that's why things like this can be so helpful. You see, especially watching other women prounce around in lingerie or nude and just embracing their body, like that helps build confidence in yourself. That's one of the reasons I talked about this not too long ago, but Korean spas are a really, really great environment because it's a bunch. Did we talk about this? Yes, we did. Korean spas are a great place to see a bunch of naked women just embracing their bodies. And so a word you used this weekend was desensitized. And I think that events like this can really not necessarily desensitize you in a bad way, but open up your
takes away your shame.
Yeah. Takes away your shame.
The shock.
I
think the shock
helps you feel more comfortable.
Because I saw you naked outside today. I was like,
Yeah.
if you would have done that day one or like on our first call,
You'd be like, get the hell out of here.
no. It's like, yes, but not naked.
Yeah, like this is so normal. Like just another naked girl. Yeah. Well, even I mean, when we did our welcome and like we were going over the agreements, when I said like, do you're comfortable, and I'm like, yeah, so like no bras, no shoes, and Renee, you were like, yeah, I noticed that. Like, because I don't think you might have been the only one wearing a bra at that point. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite parts about coming to retreats too, is like you just get to be yourself. And especially in this type of setting, you know, we're not judging each other. We're not, you know, sizing ourselves up next to each other. We're not doing that. It's like we're learning to embrace self-love on a deeper level here. And we went through, you know, we did a women's circle together. We did a breathwork journey in the morning. Yeah, I'd love for people to actually talk about that, the breath work. Yeah, that.
That was my favorite part. And that's, you had just asked what was our favorite part. Like for me, the breath work, I've never experienced a journey like that. And that felt like so good. I hate that word and that I don't have like a better vocabulary to describe it, but it just felt so calm and it felt opening and it, yeah, freeing. It just felt really good to do and something that I haven't incorporated in my life that I would like to incorporate more.
Yeah, I remember when you're like, wait, we're doing it for an hour. I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. It's a journey. We're doing some shit here. Yeah, and to be able to lead that experience was really cool for me too. As I told you, I've done many breathwork sessions myself, but that was my first time leading an activated breath like that. Where yeah, I'm intentionally putting people into like that fight or flight state. So that's yeah, that was pretty cool. And to be leading that, I just, yeah, I get sweaty and I like start to get pumped up, and yeah, that was cool. So again, I thanked everybody. That was fun for me.
When you say fight or flight, like it was intense, like in a good way, in a emotional way. Like it was very intense. Like I cried almost the entire time. Um, yeah, I was surprised. I thought I wouldn't do anything. Like I thought I'd lay there and I would fall asleep. So I was really nervous about falling asleep. But I was like present the entire time. And it was like the music in combination with your voice, in combination with like the way you spoke and the blindfold and just being immersed in it was like really powerful.
That's a good word. I like immersed in it.
Yeah,
That's really descriptive. I like that one.
I did.
And what else? Oh, that's the one though too. I think I don't know if it was 40 minutes or not, but we were all like, that was how long?
Yeah, you guys were like, that was like
it was like 10 minutes.
Like, no, that was not. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was. I love that word. Immersive. It's good. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so next our retreat name will be Hurry, HERI. Honor, embrace, reclaim, and immerse. That's fun. Yeah. And yeah, with thinking through that, like thinking through the acronym, the HER, I'm wondering if anybody has anything to add to that. My intention for this was to create that journey, and you know, spending the first couple things like honoring ourselves, honoring where we're at. I feel like we did that with the women's circle and a little bit with the breath work. Embracing, like yesterday we did a lot of work around sexuality, like doing that authentic relating exercise, sharing some deeper rooted stuff around pleasure, shame, things like that, related to sexuality. And then going into the blueprint workshops with you guys, I thought that, yeah, embracing and like learning and embracing who each of us are sexually, and like what it is that we like, how we want to be turned on, how we want pleasure to look like for ourselves. So yeah, if we double click on that experience, the blueprint workshop, who's got something?
Something you said that struck an idea was like honoring, embrace, like all those things. I feel like the attraction of a retreat is like this was a 24/7 thing. Like we were having side conversations when we weren't like actively in like a workshop or something. Like all the conversation, everything we learned about each other was like the whole entire time. It wasn't just an hour here or like a call or something like that. It was the entire time, which I feel like is really powerful and like an attraction to a retreat.
So the first part of the question was honor, embrace, reclaim, correct? Embrace. So for me, I felt a lot of like the honoring that, you know, my word was rejuvenation. And so just like honoring myself, because I constantly like give and do. I do a lot. So being able to honor myself and my needs and like do what I need for me, and like the safe space to just be you, felt really good. But as far as the blueprint workshop goes, so I've done similar workshops. However, I love being able to play in my dom role. And something that I think would be really fun to talk about is how you can have platonic, pleasurable experiences and it not be sexual, right? And that you're just able to give pleasure, receive pleasure, and it doesn't mean that you're going to have sex with them. So I had the opportunity, can I talk about it? To, because I wanted to hear what you have to say too. I had the opportunity to dom with impact play, Morgan, and it was so fun. You know, I knew what you liked because we had conversations about it, and we're not taught this stuff in real life. We're not taught how to safely create scenes. And so this gave us an opportunity to practice that in a safe space, practice creating a scene, practice asking for what we want or need, and also like saying, no, I don't want that. So it really helped us honor our boundaries. So I loved doing that experience. I also loved telling you to get on your knees and to look me in my eyes. But yeah, blueprints is always a blast.
Yeah, just to add to that, like what you're saying, like playing into it in a safe environment, like platonic, I feel like I've never gone so in depth with learning exactly what I like with like impact play and things like that. I feel like when you're in a sexual, like when you're with a partner, and say it's like just a one-time thing or a few-time thing, you're not like in a relationship actively, it's like you're a little uncomfortable to be like, oh, let's have a conversation about the ones and five smack that I like, you know, like you kind of get into it and then maybe afterward you're like, yeah, I really didn't enjoy that, you know. But to be able to feel more comfortable and knowing your boundaries, to be like, hey, beforehand, don't do this, don't use that paddle, like I feel like was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I liked specifically. I loved when we went over the energetic blueprint first, and I thought that was a really cool experience because it seemed like energetic. I feel like is a blueprint that people don't often know, or you might hear about and be like, you know, whatever. But to be able to then walk you guys through that, to witness like what the energy felt like, both when we were doing that part, and then also when we were doing like the psychological side of the kinky stuff, and yeah, I feel like, yeah, would you all agree now that you understand the energy behind sex or pleasure in like a different capacity now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
That's something that I was thinking about saying way earlier in this recording, is that, you know, at 22 years old, she now has 10 years more to utilize this experience than I have had. And so 10 more years of pleasure in her life that maybe we didn't experience, or 20 or 30 years, depending on, you know, each of us. And so I think that that's a huge advantage.
Well, I want to, like maximize on that, because I think that if you can do this work at any age, right? Like the rest of us are in our 30s. Renee already said, like, Renee is definitely the oldest of us all, but you can do this work at any age. There's no time in life where sex or pleasure is cut off. There's no expiration date to your sexuality. You hear often in nursing homes, right? Like nursing homes are actually one of the highest areas where STIs exist, because they think, oh, I can't get pregnant, so I don't need to use protection, right? But then, protection works to protect versus other things. So yeah, your grandmas and grandpas are out there fucking, y'all. Yes. And that's the other part, is like, yes, sex gets better with age because you have more experience. So again, if you're thinking about, if you've been on the fence for attending a work, like a sex workshop or a master class, or doing coaching or going to a retreat, whether it's mine or somebody else, another sex coach or intimacy coach that you follow, there is no age limit to this. We still all have the rest of our lives, ahead of us to be able to witness this. And I think, how just, I give so much credit for the people that say yes to this, because this is so often the piece in personal development or growth that is missing. And this, I fully believe that it's like when you can perfect your sex life, when you can perfect your pleasure component, that literally melts into every other aspect of your life, your career, your relationship with your spouse, with your siblings, with your children. Like you are a woman that knows what she wants. You're a woman that's asking for what she wants. You're dripping in that pleasure. You're dripping in that sexuality. Dripping. I like that. Dripping. Yeah. Moist. Yes.
So when you talk about how it infiltrates our life, I love that word too, infiltrates. But sex does infiltrate our life. And so often it is our shadow side that's overlooked. And we think about, it happens behind closed doors. It happens in the dark. We don't need to talk about it. But when you explore it and open that up, you will notice other areas of your life are also blossoming. I would be curious to know, like, from starting the calls or from starting working with Rachel, for those of us that work with Rachel, have you noticed a difference in other areas of your life as well outside of your bedroom and relationships?
I just think that what I was thinking when we were talking about earlier was about kind of the growth. And I think anybody, if you can just think of getting like one thing out of this, if you just left this retreat and only got one thing, that's pretty powerful. But I think that we gained a shit ton of things, right? But yeah, I mean, what I guess going into this too, it was like, okay, again, I'm a different generation, so thinking like sex, that's in the bedroom. That's not like you're mentioning like how it affects your day to day. We go to a strip club and there's some questionable guys, and like we were like, oh, we were all queen on this, or like it affects you in your confidence. I mean, that's why I asked you about like your confidence. I think that's one of the biggest parts is just, and I think you had mentioned early on that we are shapeshifters, right? And like all of these archetypes that we talked about, that you can embrace and be playful and have those in your life on a daily. And it really has nothing to do with sex, the playful, maiden or the strong queen. So that's what I think is pretty cool, that it wasn't necessarily just bedroom, sex.
Yeah, we're in learning each of our flavors. And same thing with the archetypes, like learning, when we know those, I said some of these are going to feel really natural, some of these are going to feel really good, and others are going to be like, what in the fuck do you want me to do? So I think that is, and yes, I love when you get into the archetype where you feel like home. And then I love when then you try to embrace that archetype for the week as I kind of like set for the homework, or you then come into this experience and then you witness it, right? Like witnessing Jordan is the perfect example of the lover, the sacred slut, the seductress, right? And the queen energy, but and you get to see it in a real life example and see how it, what it looks like on somebody. And I think it's inspiring. I think we all inspire each other so much in such different ways.
That's exactly what I was about to say, is that being able to see other people who maybe embody those archetypes more than you do. For example, like I don't embody the maiden very well at all. Like the fun, playful, that I know other people see that in me, but I don't feel very like playful very often. So it's really helpful to be able to see how other people embody those and help you get examples of how to be more in that energy as well. And I'm sure that like you can maybe relate to that too, with seeing like the queen energy. Like for me, seeing more of that queenish energy has been very helpful, like how to delegate more and how to like command, So I really have enjoyed watching everybody in their main archetype.
Yeah. And to think on the queen archetype specifically, right? When you think some of the shadow sides of the queen, the word bitchy comes up, or bossy. And it's like, I think so often for women, when women are in that more queenly archetype, it often is perceived as she's being bossy or bitchy, or she thinks she's better than everybody, or she's too good, or, whatever. And I just think in doing this archetype work and doing experiences like this, you see it more. You see it more in the gift side of it. You see it more as a positive versus a negative.
Agreed.
Okay, let's wrap it up. I would love for everyone to share, what are you leaving this experience with? Like, what are you taking away from this weekend, or just, the last month and a half together?
Something clicks and something's happening. You just don't know what, but the feeling of something is happening.
You're leveling up. You're leveling up. You're like, you unlocked something, right? You came to this retreat. You wanted to be open. You wanted to say yes to things. And like, this is your year of saying yes. And that is the main reason why you came to this retreat. And like in learning, I think would you say that this weekend gave you permission to go deeper, and like permission and support in a way to go deeper and to continue on this journey that you've been on?
No, it's just empowerment, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And
I was
thank you for being here.
I was going to add to what you had said about, it just feels like you're following your intuition and just following the yes and surrendering to your intuitive yes, which is just really powerful, which is very powerful.
And honoring your no.
For me, what I am taking away is, the first thing that came to me is friends, community. That's something that's been, I'm feeling emotional. Wow. That's something that has been really important for me this whole year, is creating the community and the women around me that support me, that like inspire me. We talked about this with the friends thing, but like, who support you and inspire you, who challenge you in a positive way, not challenge you to tear you down, but challenge you to open your perspective and give you new options and ideas. And so for me, I feel like that's what I'm taking away, is community, friendship. I'm also taking away that like there are new fun things that I want to explore more and utilize more. And even though I do this work, there are still other areas to explore. And the learning about yourself is never done. Like, you don't go to a retreat or do a 6-week course and it's done. Like, you are continually learning about yourself, changing and evolving. It doesn't end.
Yeah. It's like the saying, what got you here won't get you there. Right. So, and I think, this weekend, this experience was just like a small notch in our overall growth, and like in what it is that we're all working towards. And so you will listen to other podcasts after this. You will read other books about sex, and it's all part of the process. I shouldn't say this was a small step. This was actually like a giant leap, like coming to an in-person weekend like this with women that you didn't really know. So
I think for me, certainly the community, the friendship, which was probably unexpected, but I think ultimately for me, trust in myself and my intuition. And I speak that all the time to clients, is saying, trust yourself, trust that instinct, believe yourself, and go back to that again. And I find myself kind of vacillating back and forth this week, like worrying about something or fearing something, or, just being silly, scared about something. And then thinking, like, what's the big deal? Right. We talked about this before. Like, it's just me getting in my way. And so to trust that and be like, in 5 minutes, you're going to be perfectly okay with this, and you're going to be happy you did it. So again, just really honing in on your intuition, your gut, and to trust yourself and believe in yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. When you were speaking, all I kept thinking about was vulnerability. Like, that's what I feel like I'm taking away, like proud for everyone and myself, but vulnerability meaning like I didn't really know everybody, and then usually I'm very shy at first, and I kind of was, but it's like opening up and realizing everybody has like similar struggles or things like I don't struggle with that somebody else does, like learning. And I guess that goes along with the community part and everything. But vulnerability is like a big one.
So good. The fact that you know the word vulnerability at your age even is like, yeah. And yeah, and I think we all just did like a for the vulnerability. And I feel like that's such a word that you hear in some aspects, and then some people would think weakness, or like you're feeling vulnerable. So you're in a state of being taken advantage of. And it's not like it's such a beautiful growth side to vulnerability.
It's like powerful
Mhm.
vulnerability. Like not vulnerability where I'm feeling like like I'm scared or whatever. It's like
Mhm.
yeah,
like
what
on
you're
the
saying, like
cusp
growth.
or the precipice of something big.
Yes.
Like the
yes.
scary, and then
Yes.
Yeah.
Precipice. That was a good word. Yeah. Yeah, it's the being scared and doing it anyways. And it's like that whole the meme, like growth is on the other side of your comfort zone, essentially. So
And just to add to the vulnerability, I think is creating that safe space for us to feel safe to be vulnerable with each other and share with each other. I mean, I think a lot of things we've talked about very openly, and maybe this is the first time some of us have had some of these discussions or really truly shared openly about parts of us that we wouldn't be able to vulnerably share in other situations.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for all being vulnerable.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you, Rachel. Again, I keep saying about how I keep speaking to the fact that this was like a slow burn, the Tuesday meetings, and then again, just my resistance probably in my head of some things. Like once you told me we were doing something, I was like, no. But the everything that you did and the way that you laid it out lent itself to, you made that little baby step and now you're ready for the next step, right? And so like your own personal like, okay, yeah, I did that, I'm ready for the next hurdle. But like everything was perfectly laid out, I think, as far as making that I don't know, a smooth, natural progression.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like Rachel, you're saying this is a big leap. Like, yes, in general, this is a huge leap for people to take, but it's not just like, bam, you're getting right into it. It's it's a big leap for you to take. And then there's a bunch of like, little baby humps that you get over. Then you realize like the gist of it all. Like it was huge.
And I often say this to clients too in session, is like, if you can conquer this area, if you can conquer the sex piece, or even just talking about sex, right? If you can talk about sex vulnerably and openly, you could talk about anything. I mean, I said that when I started this 10 years ago. I'm like, I could talk to somebody on the side of the road about the clitoris. Like I'll tell you all about it. And I just met you, and that's, that I think that definitely comes with time. But it's just, yeah, it's been incredible to witness all of you. And again, I feel grateful that you're all here, and this was a long time in the making for me. So thank you for trusting in me and being here, and mostly like, thank you for saying yes, because I'm telling you, like when we conquer this part of our lives and when we embrace this part of life, like fucking magic happens. And I'm just honored to see what happens and what comes from each of you after this.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What inspired you to create this for us, and why did you want this?
Yeah.
Like a news reporter.
Yeah, definitely from going through my own experiences and going through, I very much see myself not even so much as a coach. I feel like a coach is somebody that's on the sidelines telling other people what to do, but more as a mentor. It's like I'm going through the same shit, right? Like I'm going through the retreats, and I'm doing the programs and listening to the podcasts, and then to be able to absorb all the things and then take what it was from my own experiences that I loved and like I felt the most transformation from, build up my confidence then to be able to deliver that. Like I've seen, like I am an example of how in-person retreats can change so much, or in-person experiences, or on the virtual side of it, I mostly do virtual work with people. So, but that like getting people into the safety, as you all spoke to, and the vulnerability, and getting people to talk about their sex life, talk about their intimacy life, like that is that is not something that you get often. And I'm often told, like, I feel like I'm talking to my sister, or I'm like talking to my best friend. Like, you make it so comfortable. So to be able to take that and then create it in an in-person experience, like this, walking into this weekend, it could have gone so many different ways. Like, and there's, as I said in the beginning, there's so many things that happened just off the cusp that we didn't plan for. And I feel like that speaks so much to the safety and just where we were all willing to go with each other this weekend. So yeah, I can't wait to do more.
Okay, to add to that. So, I came into this with the idea that there are certain people, like obviously you, who's going to be an expert in something. So I had, I kind of thought in my head, you were comfortable with all things or whatnot, but there were, you participated in some things, and it was nice to hear. She was like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. And I was like, oh, you don't feel comfortable? Okay. So it made me feel also more comfortable, because it wasn't like, I've done this 50 times. I'm really great at it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Yeah. So your vulnerability in some of the exercises as well, I thought was like, oh, okay, so even she's not the expert person and knowing everything. Yes. This shows that you've got vulnerability in areas to grow, right? And confidence. And then you did the lingerie shoots in lingerie, and we also talked about how that was like, yeah, you weren't out there in a turtleneck, yeah, I was like, damn. Yeah, so that was really relaxing as well, to be able to see that, and that felt comfortable.
I don't even know how to close this now. I know I don't want it to end. I think you said earlier, Rachel, you're like, I wish it was longer. I wish it was more days. I'll add that to my feedback list for the future retreats. But yeah, again, just, yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing this recording. I know this was a lot of yours first time podcasting too. So, and yeah, deep breaths. We made it. We made it.
Another hurdle.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
exactly. Another hurdle. So what are we doing now? We're gonna order some dinner. We're gonna have a nice steak dinner tonight. We're gonna do some fun stuff tonight. If you are, just to wrap this up, if you are interested in joining us in the future, well, first consensus, would you all do something like this again?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, shit, I hope I don't ask this. And somebody's like, never again. No, I think most.
You're getting paid for this. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, there will definitely be more women's retreats. I had many people that just this weekend didn't work out, or again, they just weren't in a place where they were ready to say yes. So there will certainly be more retreats, and also planning to do some couples retreats as well starting next year. So stay tuned, and yeah, follow the show. You've probably been listening to the show. If you're listening to this podcast, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us at rachelmain.com. All the deets are always there. And until next time, we're gonna go out and just be her.
Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you really fucking loved it, make sure to tag me on social media at @TheRachelMain. I'll see you next week.